Hi everybody and welcome on this beautiful late October day for the ribbon cutting for the new Orchard Village Willowbrook Apartments path. And my name is Mark Anders. I'm the transportation planner with the Bennington County Regional Commission. And I'm just going to take 1 minute and tell a story about how this project got started. 10 years ago in 2011, I got an email from Colleen York, who I think is here. Maybe hold up your hand. Colleen York. So I got an email from Colleen 10 years ago. Hi, Colleen. I don't think I've seen you in about 10 years. And Colleen said that the rate of absenteeism for kids from what was then known as Applegate Apartments, now Orchard Village Apartments, was higher than it was for the kids from Willowbrook Apartments. And she said that's because there's no safe walking route between Applegate Apartments and the Molly Stark Elementary School. And was there something that we could do about it? Could we make a safe walking route? So we came down here and took a look, and we saw that although there was only 480 feet separating the two apartment complexes, it really was a swampy mess, and most of it was on private property. And I think, and the other thing we saw was some kids had made, they had cut through this jungle, and they had made a bridge over the stream with a shopping cart and an old board. So I thought, there really is people really want a better pedestrian connection. And it just seemed kind of unfair, given we're right next to this, incredibly expensive highway interchange, that this was the best infrastructure we had for these kids to get to school. So 10 years later, and about 1,000 emails and meetings and permit applications and lumber shortages and et cetera, we're here, and I think it came out great, and I'm so happy to see it done and people using it. So a lot of people made this project possible, and a lot of them are here, so I want to just thank a few of them. And first I want to thank Dan Monks, the assistant town manager. He worked so hard on this project behind the scenes. Doesn't get a lot of credit for it, but really I can't say enough about how much he did to make this project happen. And also Jason Dolmich from MSK Engineering and Design and his crew did a great job engineering this project. And Jeff Goldstone, who I see here from Goldstone Architecture, it's so beautiful. He did such a nice job designing this. Everybody says how nice it is. And VTrans for giving us most of the money, and especially at VTrans, John Kaplan and Tina Boll were especially helpful. And the school district, Bennington School District has been really supportive from the very beginning. Laura Boudreau, who's here, and Jim Culkeen, who wanted to be here but couldn't be here today. Housing Vermont was very helpful, and Shire's Housing, Stephanie Lane, who was here, has been a big supporter, and has been the Bennington Housing Authority. And I'd also like to thank the Bennington Select Board, and especially the chairs, the Bennington Select Board chairs over the years have been really supportive, starting with Greg Van Houten. The late Tom Jacobs was a big supporter of this project. I think he'd be really happy to see this. And Donald Campbell was a big supporter, and Jeannie Jenkins has been very supportive of this project. So last, I'd like to thank Jim Sullivan, my boss, who's been very patient with me, even though this thing took 10 years. He didn't bug me about it too much, so and he was a huge supporter of the project. So with that, I'm turning it over to Jim.
Thank you, Mark. I appreciate that. I bug Mark a lot about this project, truth be told. But the only thing that I could really claim to have added to this was I told Colleen to send that first email to Mark. So that's my contribution. And after that, I really have to thank Mark and all the people that he mentioned, and a few others, I think, for their perseverance and really sticking with this project, because it's really important, and it's great that it's here now. And the only thing I wanted to say about that is in a broader context why this project needs to be here. I mean, this part of as Mark mentioned, there was this issue with the school and kids not being able to get to school if they missed the bus. They were basically told to stay home. And it's like, well, that really makes a lot of sense. But it's a bigger issue. It wasn't just school kids, it's everybody at Orchard Village, then Applegate. They were really landlocked. There was no way to get in and out except with a car. And that was really symptomatic of this entire part of town, which really developed during the era of the automobile. And at that point in our history, unfortunately, we kind of forgot that people live here, and we should be designing for people. And like, thanks to Mark and the folks from the town, we've really recognized that there's a terrible shortage in human-based infrastructure in general, but certainly in this area. And there's really been an emphasis on trying to pay some more attention to this area and make sure that the facilities that are needed to serve the neighborhoods in this area and the businesses in this area are finally built, the things that should have been here all along. And so it's not just this path, it's, I think a lot of people notice that, you know, the crossing of Route 7 now and a number of other projects that have been built and are planned for the area. And those things are really being driven by the town of Bennington. And so I would like, with that, to turn it over to the chair of the select board, Jeannie Jenkins. Jeannie?
Thank you, Jim. Well, I'm happy to be here, and I am both excited and grateful. I am excited that we finally have this attractive, safe pathway through the wetlands. I'm really happy that it is a safe route for kids to get to school. I'm really pleased to see so many adults using it as well as a safe way to get to Northside Drive. And I love the fact that it connects these two neighborhoods, which are so close, but were so far away. And then I'm really grateful for the strong partnerships we have in this community. The Bennington County Regional Commission, Town of Bennington, and the Supervisory Union really worked together for 10 years to make this happen. I'm especially grateful to Mark Anders and to Dan Monks, who I think without you two, this project would not have happened, because you were there for every new requirement, every setback, every single time that you needed to come back to whomever and say, small snag, we just need to do this one more thing. And I'm really grateful to the community that didn't give up on this project, even though it took a decade to come to fruition, because it is wonderful. This really makes a difference for so many people. So thanks to everyone that has done this. This pathway is really fantastic. And with that, I want to turn it over to Laura Boudreau, the Assistant Superintendent of Schools.
So on behalf of the school district, I'd so much like to thank the town of Bennington and BCRC for this amazing project, and attendance is so important. Having a way to make sure that kids can access school is so important. And to me, it's really about access and building community. So this just opens the door to building more bridges with their community. And so we're really think that's an important component. And the other piece I'd like to mention is the importance of health and wellness in this period of time. We are passionate about the health and wellness of the students that we serve. And this is a walking path, it's a biking path. I'm looking at students we have here now that could either walk or bike here and have access. And so this offers another opportunity. I was just myself imagining walking to school along here, and I'm looking up at the beautiful trees and the wind and the sounds that I hear. And we have so much research now on the links between movement and learning, and so you've opened this whole other window to the importance of, as you're walking or getting to another place, you're taking care of yourself. And so again, I cannot thank the community enough for wrapping around this project and making this happen. And so I'm going to turn this over to Stephanie Lane.
Good afternoon, and thank you for being here. It's so great to see this happen at long last, and to see this wonderful project come to fruition. We're here to celebrate the new Willowbrook Orchard Village Path. I'm Stephanie Lane. I'm the Executive Director and Director of Development for Shires Housing. And we are the owners and managers of Orchard Village, which is at the other end of the trail. Access is the word of the day today. A big part of the benefit of the trail is access to the Molly Stark School. The shoulder of Orchard Road is almost non-existent, but you'll still regularly see residents walking the road to get groceries with their shopping carts, going to school, and going to work. The path is a much safer and more pleasant option for them. We have had positive feedback from our residents already. They appreciate the access to stores, to schools, and family that live in Willowbrook. One tenant conveyed how really nice the path is and how pretty it is to walk on. And another said he has been using it to constantly visit his mother-in-law, and he loves the access and the safety of it. And we at Shires are very pleased to have the path open for both recreation and safe passage and connection to much needed services and family. We strongly support this and will take on the ongoing maintenance of the trail for the foreseeable future. I won't say in perpetuity, how's that, but for the foreseeable future. I want to thank our partners at BCRC, Mark Anders especially, who really spearheaded this effort and saw it through, as well as Jim Sullivan. Also the town of Bennington, and Dan Monks and Jeannie Jenkins for their support of this important project. This project is also important for us because of the recreation and safety aspect, and it addresses the dual goal of health and housing, so it's rare that we get that opportunity. So with that, it is now my pleasure to introduce the principal of the aforementioned Molly Stark School, who have been great partners with us over the years, Principal Donna Basic.
Good afternoon. This is truly an honor to be here today. It's take a look at where we are out here in this beautiful day of the sun setting and the beautiful colors still in here among us. It's a breath of fresh air, and in today's world, we need a breath of fresh air. And it's so nice to see everybody's smile today and being here in a happy place. I thank the students of Molly Stark who came here today in support of this great event. As I was walking through, they all kind of followed me, so thank you, Molly Stark learners. Good job, Kinsley. All right, BCRC, Town of Bennington Supervisory Union, I thank you so much. Colleen, where's Colleen? Thank you, Colleen, very much. This is just perseverance, right, at its best. And you know, I have walked through this trail before and got muddied myself. It was interestingly made, but to see it like this is just absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for your hard work and your dedication to this project. Like many have said, the attendance can be challenging, especially if you don't have access to school. And Orchard Road is a busy road. It's hard for kids to walk on this. This allows kids to travel in a safe manner. I'm glad to hear that it's going to be maintained because we know about our Vermont winters and they can be somewhat challenging, but if it's going to be maintained, then they're going to have access to walking. You know, busing can be challenging for kids to get on the bus, and I'm so happy to see that they will have a way of accessing school. So thank you again to this community. I'm so glad to be part of it. And now back to you, Mark.
All right, so now for the exciting part, the ribbon cutting. And everybody who's going to be cutting the ribbon or wants to participate in the ribbon cutting, come on this side. And
So Molly Stark learners, come on.
I'm going to give out these.
Come on, yay!
Okay, so on the count of 3, 1, 2,